series covers beginning play skills. Play skills are the foundation for friendships, and the ability to engage in a wide variety of play skills will increase your child's inclusion in social, academic, and vocational activities. It also sets the stage for leisure skills, which improve the quality of life of a person across their lifespan. Currently, your child might have only a small variety of toys that they like to play with. They might play with those toys in a way that's different than other children their age. They might tolerate you sitting nearby while they're playing, but not notice when another friend comes over to play too. Once your child learns the skills presented in this series, they will be able to play with a wider variety of toys in the same way that other children do, be able to share and trade toys with you, and use their eye contact to request items when they're playing, and also share their enjoyment of the toys with you. When you are choosing items to play these activities with, first take a few minutes to play with each activity and think about what it would be like from your child's perspective, and then set it up before you have your child come over to play in a way that will be the most fun and easiest for them. For example, if you're going to play with the ball stacker, usually once the child puts the ball in the frog's mouth, they're going to want to watch it drop all the way down. And so here I've set it up so that it's very easy for the child to put the ball into the mouth, and then they can see all the openings, but I've switched the bottom one so that the opening is facing me. So as soon as it hits the bottom, I can immediately take it out and pass it back to them. If we're building trains on a track, we want to make sure that although we may allow the child to put the trains together in a way, the tracks together in a way that's fun, if they're not going to be able to reach the tracks when they go to push the train around, and that's going to be frustrating to them, we'll want to shape the tracks to go a different way so that they can enjoy them once they've put them together. If you're going to use blocks to build, think about your child's fine motor strengths and which types of blocks would be easiest for them to put together. For example, with these quattros, they're very easy to attach. The duplos take a little bit more strength, but they're still pretty easy to put together, whereas the trios require quite a bit of push to click, and you want to make sure that your child is not getting frustrated by putting the blocks together and thus missing out on the actual skill you're trying to teach. Then if you choose a puzzle, something like this one looks great and it has some pieces, but you want to make sure that the pieces are really easy for your child to put in. For example, this one, when you go to put the sun in, there are many different ways that you can turn it, and only one of them is actually going to work to get the sun in. As you can see, I'm having a difficult time putting it in, and you wouldn't want that to be an inadvertent frustration to your child. When you set up the materials to do the activity, you will want to have some all ready to go within easy reach of the child, and you might even hand them one and see if they'll approach the table with it. Then you want to have a few out that are also within reach but not right in front of them, so that they can either reach for the item and you can pass it to them, or maybe you hand them one as they're ready for the next one. And then in case your child is interested in continuing to play with the toy after they've finished all of the items that are on the table, if it's something like this Lego set where we have multiple pieces, you'll want to have some ready to go so that you can keep going as long as you have their interest. When you are choosing toys to use to teach these skills, think about how your child already plays with the toys and whether you can slightly shape the way that they're playing to something that is a little bit more similar to how typical kids play with those toys. So if you have a child who really likes watching vehicles with wheels and how their wheels can roll when they spin them, we can first have them spin them on the table and then have them spin them on a track. If your child likes to shake things like this, we can look at teaching them how to shake a shaker or a different kind, play musical instruments. If they like to tap things like this, then we can shape that also into playing musical instruments by having them use some of the same items that they might tap with on a drum, and then showing them how to use a mallet instead. If they like sensory play, for example, this bin of sand, and they like to take the sand and let it drip between their fingers or fall into their hand, we can show them how to use a cup to scoop it and pour it, or a shovel. This way, we're not asking them to drastically change the way that they're playing with the toys, but just show them how there are different ways that they can play with them. When you set up and you start to play, think about where you and your child are going to sit and how you can position your body so that it is going to be the easiest for them to make eye contact with you and to see each other's faces. So whenever you can, you want to sit across from them as possible rather than next to them or behind them. And this way, it makes it really easy to pass them items. You can see their face and look and see what they are looking at and what is important to them. It makes it very easy to capture spontaneous moments of eye contact and make facial expressions that you and the child can see. That'll be even easier if you are on the same level as your child. So if you find yourself sitting higher than them because of what you happen to be sitting on, shift your position so that you're at the same level with them. So if I was on a chair here, I would probably get out of the chair and sit on the floor so that all my child has to do in order to maintain eye contact with me is simply shift their eye gaze over. And if I'm passing them something, they can just simply take it from my hand. If instead, if I was sitting next to them, or even behind them, now they're going to have to do a lot more steps in order to make eye contact with me. And if I'm trying to pass them one of our blocks, they'll have to turn around to take it from me. And I'm going to miss opportunities for spontaneous commenting through smiles and laughter that I would get if it was easy for us to see each other's faces. As you begin to play with your child, think about how you're talking as you play and that your language serves as a model for them, either to show them how they can talk about the play activity as you're going or modeling the next stage of language for them. When you are going around, for example, with some trains, you can make some sound effects. You want to exaggerate your facial expressions and narrate your play. And don't be tempted to ask your child questions or tell them what to do with the items. Just play as if you're another child. Here's an example. Woo woo! Here comes the train. Oh, it's going around. It's going to go faster. Oh no, it crashed. Here, I'll help. Okay, it's ready, set, go, choo-choo.